Hello everyone, 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer, and we will do a quick job on the front brake pads. So we will start with removing the lug nuts. We have one lug nut and the rest are 21mm regular sockets. So let's get that done first. I'm using just my 1/2-inch impact. Amazing tool. Cost quite a bit, but worth every penny. So if you're doing lots of job in a shop, strongly recommend it. I think it has like 1400 foot-pound loosening torque. Right, so next we will undo the caliper itself. We'll grab a small hook so we have something to attach it to when it's loose. So it will be two, I believe those are 14mm bolts. Actually, entire pin came out, which is interesting design. So we will need to make sure that we clean them and lubricate properly. Normally you would have a bushing a pin inside and then nut goes on top, but they looks clean, so it should be easy job to clean those. If they're stuck, it's way more job and effort. So those pads are not wore out as much as they just make tons of noise. I'm not sure exactly why. Either they are metallic pads or they're just cheap pads. Might be just cheap because they also produce tons of brake dust. So we will get the pads out. We have brand new pads, and I will leave a link in the description. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of meat. As always, we will replace the hardware, top and bottom. So next I'll undo two 17mm bolts to take the caliper bracket off. We are not replacing the rotor, though we want to clean those pins or receivers where the sliding pin go, and also we want to clean where the hardware goes so it's nice and smooth. So we'll remove those two bolts. Takes a few minutes, but will make a huge difference. Alright, a few tips. So as you can see, all the surfaces where the hardware sits are nice and clean. If you have any rust built up, it will create any issues. So it doesn't matter if you have new brake pads, new hardware, if it's old and rusty over here, it will not work as expected. So the bolts, they had Loctite thread locker on them. So if we clean them on the wire wheel, we'll apply the new thread locker. They should be good to go. Another thing, so our boots are nice and they solid. So the pins, we saw that they are in a nice shape. Grease is clean. So we won't change those because I don't have them. I didn't realize that the pins would come out. But if you do it, order your bushings. They will be like probably $5. Then remove them and clean with wire brush inside, wash them off. I'm afraid to get those removed. You normally just press them in and pull them out because they are old, so I'm afraid to crack them. But strongly recommend replace those boots. They are quite cheap, but they will make your brake last. So now we'll just put the bolts back in. When they are nice and clean, they should go in quite easily. If you haven't cleaned them good enough, it will be a little bit more difficult. So we'll get them started, we'll get them snug, and we will torque them. So they need to be torqued to 110 foot-pounds. So we'll get them snug. Another one. And now we will torque them. I'm just using 1/2 inch torque wrench, and I will leave links to all the tools and parts in the description to the video, so please check those out. So 110 foot-pounds. Also check my Amazon store. That might help my channel grow. Alright, so my new pads come with the hardware and brake grease, brake lube. So this is your normally high temperature, so you can apply it around the brakes and it won't get liquid and won't leak all the way around. I'm just using mine that I have before. It just has nice application brush. So one thing that might be easier just to apply this grease while the caliper bracket is off. Just easier, so we don't risk touching the rotor. But we'll make sure that we will check the rotor and make sure that it's clean. So the main reason of putting grease in those spots is you want to prevent any rust build up under your hardware, because when rust builds up it presses the hardware, your brake pads are not moving, and that puts extra tear and wear, and potentially your brake can seize. So now when we have this in place, we'll go ahead and apply just a little bit of grease where the brake pads will sit. This is not a must step, I would admit. Those hardware pieces, they are galvanized or stainless steel, so they supposed to last even with without any grease. Though based on my experience, it works nicely if you have that grease over there. So brake pads, the outer brake pad, we don't need anything, we just put it in, and it has to go in easily without any pressure, without any force. So the other one on this side, we will need to attach this wear indicator. It goes just over there, and it has to be in a like the way the wheel spins, so it goes this way, so we attach it to the top. And same way the brake pad has to go in easily without any force. So next you want to go under the hood and open your brake fluid reservoir, because we will be pushing fluid back. Alright, next we need to push this piston back in, but before we do that, we'll take a file and clean it. We remove all the grease, all the rust that has built up probably in years. There's quite a bit. You can use a sandpaper, that will take a while. You don't want to use a wire brush around here, because you're risking to damage this boot. But just run it well with file. You want to make sure that there is no rust, big pieces of rust, because then it won't be pushing evenly on your brake pads. So now you just grab any of your brake pads, put it in. You will need a C-clamp. And now we go slowly and push this piston in, and that will push the fluid back into the reservoir. So if your reservoir is quite full, you want to make sure that you can remove that extra fluid. just with a syringe. Brake fluid is very corrosive. It can damage the paint, so you don't want it to be leaking all over the car. So we'll just go flush when it's done. So now we can remove the C-clamp. Another spot that you want to clean is this side. Same thing. We'll make sure that it's nice. At this point, we will take a little bit more of our brake lube and lubricate the piston. You can put that grease on a pad itself. I prefer to put it on the caliper so it goes exactly where it's supposed to go. Alright, so now we're ready to install. So if you look at the sliding pin, one has the rubber bushing, it goes on top. The other one without goes at the bottom. I just cleaned them with the paper towel because there was no rust, no damage. So now I will just go with the wire brush, clean the thread and area around here. So now when they are nice and clean, we will put some fresh lubricant. This is the top one. Just put it aside for now. This is the bottom one. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now we can take the caliper, slide it over the new pads. Make sure that those bushings go inside. So the one without rubber end goes at the bottom. The other one with rubber end goes at the top. So now I'll just get them snug and get them torqued. Those are just 55 foot-pounds, so I don't want to over-torque them. So we have same half-inch torque wrench. This is 55 top and 55 bottom. Next we will close the reservoir, go inside and press the brake pedal. So now we can see that caliper is loose, so we want to that piston goes in touch with the brake pad, so we will pump the brakes until they're hard. Right, next we will install the wheel. We'll just put a little bit anti-seize around the wheel hub because those are aluminum rims, and when it oxidizes it can get really stuck. Another thing that you want to check your rotor for any grease, and it seems to be fine. So now we'll just grab our wheel and 5 lug nuts. I think you must be familiar with this procedure. So we'll just get them snug and torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Not sure if I need to film this, so thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Please check description to the video for all the parts, tools you will need in my Amazon store. Help this channel. Take care, and as always, just do it yourself.